So what I'm going to be showing today, it's pretty basic really. Don't ignore the rough work here, but it's pretty basic. It's just two screens that are linked together. Let me see. Two screens that are linked together with just one single. Oh boy. Ignore this one. Let me see if I can even delete it. Okay, cool. So these are the two screens that are relevant to the whole animation. It's just a, what do you call it? I linked them with the keypad trigger. That's the key or gamepad trigger, and also the animation. I think your mic is on mute. Oh, okay. I'm not sharing my screen. Thank you very much for letting me know. I think you should be able to see it now. Please let me know if you can.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. So, like I said, it's basically just two screens that are linked together. The whole thing is just two screens that are linked together with a key and gamepad and trigger that has a smart animate and ease in, ease out, and 800 milliseconds parameter set to it. It's also the same for this one as well, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, I think this one is not really relevant in this context. But yes, I'm going to show you the entire process from start to finish, how I actually came up with the concept, and how I arrived at this at the end of the day. I think this call, because of the account I'm currently on, I think it's timed, so it's going to elapse in 56 minutes. So in case it does, just take it like that, and I think you can always like join. What do you call it? You can always like watch the rest of the video when I upload on YouTube, or maybe we can still try joining again. That will work. So let me just get started. I'm going to first of all create like a new design file, and I'm going to call this let's call it HF11, because that's actually the original site. So let me just show you where I got the inspiration from. I was randomly scrolling the internet, as I normally do. Scrolling the internet, I think I saw it on Awards. Awards is basically, if you are not familiar with the way, it's like see like really creative websites that are pushing like the boundaries of what is possible on the web. So I saw it here, so you can see here it was one of the nominees from, I think, last week or from this week, earlier this week. Yeah, so it's called HF11 by Joseph Berry. So this is the guy that actually designed it, and I just like checked it out. I was scrolling through the website. Let me just visit the site. I was scrolling through the site, and I mean, it was cool. It was a pretty cool site. But I saw assets that I was like, okay, you know what? I think I can actually like use it. So most times when I scroll across sites, I see stuff. I'm like, okay, you know what? I would love to like maybe try something with this. I liked the simplicity of the site, so I was like, okay, maybe I could download this asset. So I tried downloading this image. So you could see copy image. I downloaded the image, and I was hoping to like use it in my own design as well. I had it in a Figma file. I'm going to show all of that. Then I scrolled through, and then I saw one, and then I saw this one. I was like, okay, you know what? Let me also download this one. It's a video. Let me also download the video as well. So I downloaded it, and I randomly came to work in Figma one day, and I was like, okay, what can I try? So this was the original idea. I was trying my hands out on typography. So I just tried to like have this original design here, and then have a couple of text all over the place. So this whole grid system, I'm also going to show how I was able to arrive at this particular one. So the idea was to do like a grid practice. I was going to practice how to like use the grid. So the person that even inspired this practice was this guy on Twitter called 47 Grids. In case you're not familiar with him, I don't really know his real name. Akin Wumi something. 47 Grid. Let me just search. Yeah, 47 Grids is his name on Twitter. So you can see this is the guy's account. He does like lots of creative typography and grid layout work, and I really liked the things I saw. So most times I just save them for inspiration and just like drop them on the board, and every now and then go back to them and just look at them. I'm not exactly trying to do anything. I'm just looking at them just to get a feel for what is going on in the design, just to be inspired and just to see if I can be inspired by his work as well. So that's where I got like the inspiration to try out grid and typography practice from. So from there, most times how my project actually starts, I just want to try one particular thing. I want to try typography, and then I added this image. I was like, okay, that's cool. What can I do to make it even better? I just remembered the video that I actually had, this particular video, and then I just dropped it in, and I was able to like build stuff around it. So most times the main contents that I have, that's the main asset that I have. For example, this particular video in this context, I try to like build whatever other build them an interface around that main content. So most times it's not the I don't just start building content without having like sometimes I may do that, but then there are times where it's the main asset I have that I try to work with and even build things around. I think even applies to even clothing as well. So sometimes there's times when I may see like a shoe and I'm like, okay, you know what can I wear with this shoe that would like look well. So it was also like the same thing with this particular website. I was like, what can I pair with this image that would like look really nice? So I ended up coming up with this concept, and as the case may be, most time I'm never satisfied with just like creating a static website. I want to make it dynamic, make things move, and it's very easy to do on Figma. Very, very easy if you know your way around, which I think you should if you've seen my content already. So let me just get started with creating the layout again, so you can see how I was able to arrive at that layout. So as I normally do, 1440 by 810. I'm not going to go into the whole 16 by 9 aspect ratio thing again, but yeah, I'm a huge fan of 16 by 9 aspect ratio design for the web. So I'm going to add like a layers grid. Press plus here, click on this one, change it to columns. I'm going to add 5 columns, and I'm going to make the margin 40. Okay, then the gutter is 20. I think that's totally fine. I also think I want to maybe, I think 10 is fine, so you can be able to see it from your end. Then I'm going to just add another grid and that column grid. Okay, no, this I'm going to make it column rows instead, so you can see that they are intersecting. One is rows, one is column. So for this one, I want to give it like a different color just so I can be able to like see it. Maybe let's say something that's obnoxious so we can actually see it. Okay, let's do blue. I think it stands out enough further. So I'm going to make the margin 40 as well, so you can see with this I've been able to create like a basic layout. Do not take my grid advice for as the single source of truth. Actually do your own research on it, but then I most times I feel like having like a basic concept of where to start from is always like really great, and then you start building upon it. So everything I know about design now, which is not a lot, was like years of building upon like the basic idea or the basic understanding I had of that particular concept. So everything was just like built upon. So you can start with this and then you build upon it. So for me, it's just this is my starting point for grid practice. Like I said, it's not the single source of truth. You can actually do your own. You should do your own practice explorations and see what you can actually come up with. You can change the numbers, change the gutters, change things about it, and see what you can arrive at. So this was what I started with for mine, and then I just dropped the image. Like I said, I got the image from the video rather from that website, so you can easily just go to that site. That's what's the name? Oil Stain Lab. I think I'm just going to drop it in the comments so you can check it out in your spare time. Okay, Oil Stain Lab. You can check that site out. It's by Joseph Berry. Guys, is on Twitter as well, so you can see his name, Joseph Berry. So I was able to get the image by just right clicking and going to save video as. That's as easy as it is. I think if it doesn't even allow you to save, there's a way you can actually like use inspect mode to save it. I'm not really familiar with coding like that, coding tools, but basically I think you can come here and then you see the video in one of these, and then you can open in another tab and download. But that's by the way, so that's a long way around. But typically you can just press save video as, and you can save the video as whatever you want to save it as. So that's that for that. So for this next step, you will need unfortunately you will need a Figma Pro account. However, there's still like some workaround. So the workaround is that for if you want this particular video in your file, you can always copy this my design file. I will share the file in the video, like in the when I upload it on YouTube. I'm going to add this particular file to the comment so you can actually have access and poke around. So you can actually find my video and then copy my video and then paste in your file. So if you copy my video and paste in your file, it's going to play. But then if you try to add a video by yourself, it's not going to work. That's just the only thing, except you have like a pro account or a student account with Figma. So I'm just going to first of all draw a rectangle. So rectangles, I find rectangles to be the best way to place images or to place videos in your file. So I know they said don't use rectangles, but then rectangles are actually the best way. I've come to see that when you want to add like videos or images to your file. So I'm just going to add that. And then the next thing I want to do is to add is to import the what do you call it, import the video I had. Oh, I have to be in a pro account. So you can see that this is actually this is my personal account. So there's no, I can't use video on it. So what I can do is I can go to my other file, that's my work account where I have a paid account, a paid Figma account, and just copy Control C and then Control V, so you can see how I do it. So you can see I have a video in my file already. Even if typically I cannot paste, I can actually use video I can place a video with a free account, but I can copy a video from another file and then paste in my file. It's going to play just as well. So you can copy, when I share the link to this my file, you can always copy the video and then paste it in your file as well. So you can see I have a video playing in a free Figma. Is it not playing? I'm coming, let me check, let me just be sure. Okay, this is not a video, this is an image rather. Sorry, I'm so sorry about that. So I want to copy the video from this one because I actually did have an image. Control C, and then I'm going to Control V here. Okay, I'm going to unlock it, and then I'm going to play. So you can see I have a video playing in a free account. That's basically the workaround that you have to it. So you can also come to click on the video. So I don't think you really need the rectangle again. You can just delete it in this context. You can also go to process settings and then mess around with the settings. So I have the audio turned off. There's actually no audio on it. There's no audio on it. So you don't need to turn that off if you still want to. Then you can turn on loop. Loop means that it has to play start from the beginning again. So this is the video playing. It's going to loop because loop is turned. So you can see it just loops just now. But I don't want loop. I only want it to play one shot, because that's actually the way it is on the website. Once you scroll to this section, it plays. Okay, it has stopped playing, and then it just stops playing. So it just feels like an image at that point. So that's what I want for myself, for my file as well. I just want to turn off the loop. Then also for the size, I intentionally scaled it up. I didn't want it to be the same size as the frame, because okay, let me just make it the same size for now so I can actually explain why I scaled it up eventually. So this is just the video, the same size as the frame. You can see that because I made my frame a 16:9 aspect ratio, the video just fits perfectly with it. If I had made it any other size, I've been kind of wonky trying to adjust it to suit the frame. So I like 16:9 aspect ratio because video content are typically shot in 16:9 aspect ratio. So that's just that. Then I'm also going to start placing content. So the first thing I want to do is to add a big text that emphasizing what maybe you're selling on the side. Maybe I'm selling the concept that this car is built for the new age. So I'm just going to type that here, the new age. Okay, I thought I turned caps lock on the new age. Okay, that's cool. So I'm going to press K and then scale it up by 4 times. Okay, 4 does not work. I'm going to do 10x. Okay, 10x is too much, so I'm just going to press K. Okay, it's already on K, and grab the edges and just scale it down till I see that it's fine. So I'm just going to drop it somewhere here. And now I want to change the font to, I think I used Bebas Nui. So Bebas Nui, I think it's a default Figma font, so you can always find it in your Figma. Then the next thing I want to do is I want to click on this option here and then go to, what do you call it, cap height to baseline, and just trim that excess, because text typically come with this empty block just to I don't know what it does. I can't explain what it does properly, but I think I know what it does, but I can't put it in words right now. So let's just trim it vertically, and that's that. So just shaves off those extra top and bottom space, and I think that looks better. So I'm going to change it to white as well, F. Then I'm going to centralize it, and then here's where I want to start using the grid. So I will try to line it up as perfect as I can. Make sure you zoom in. So all this is not necessary, but I think it makes your work what they call pixel perfect. So you can line it up perfectly with where the what's it called? Is it vertical or horizontal? These things confuse me a lot. I think it's the horizontal. Yes, I think it's horizontal. If I'm wrong, forgive me. But yeah, I think it's the horizontal grid. So make it line up perfectly with the horizontal grid, and then press K, and then drag it up to scale it up. So K is to scale. So I'm going to scale it till the handle gets to this gets to this point as the end of where the vertical grid stops. I'm just going to zoom in and make it pixel perfect, like I said earlier. So go to this edge as well. It's pixel perfect. So I think we're good to go for now. You shouldn't worry too much about things always perfectly lining up. Like it doesn't have to like reach this top, as long as I've picked a particular spot in the grids where I want to like make my content start from. I think it's fine if it doesn't get to the other end as well. The only thing I think I would probably recommend is that content should maybe not stop in the gutter, because these are called, like, these empty spaces in between stuff are called gutters. You should always try and cross at least. So that's just by the wayside. Again, do not take my advice as the single source of truth. Do your own research as well and make sure that you are informed about these things. Then I also want to bring the spacing between them. It's something they don't really tell you, but then most typefaces, you still have to, if you want to make it look even better, you have to still like adjust the vertical and horizontal line height. Okay, I'm probably using that wrongly. I think line height and then the letter spacing. Yeah, that's the word. So I like adjusting them every now and then, except for some fonts. For example, Morganite already has like a really, really great letter spacing. So most I don't really adjust it. So let's just do let's do -2. So -2. So it doesn't really do much, but for someone that knows, like, they just feel that they just can't tell that something has happened. So I think -2, let's do -3, 2.5, or let's do -4. Let's go do it. But the problem with -4 is that the spacing between T and H is just too much. So let's just do -2 and not waste too much time. So these are small things I do that to my designs, to my typography mostly, that make things look even better. So I'm just going to scale it up as well. So drag from this edge and scale it up to the other edge as well. So again, make it pixel perfect, and then just align, make sure it's aligned to the bottom as well. So I think we're good. With this main text. So I think let's just play and see how it looks like. So one thing I always recommend when you are designing, it's always like play and see how it looks. If you design for your mobile, play on, like, use Figma Mirror to preview on your mobile to see how it looks. So that way you can get a proper feel of what your design is going to look like on an actual device. So that's just it. If you're designing on web, preview on web. So I remember, I scaled this particular image down, or the video down at some point. Why I did so is because I realized that in the preview mode, the text is kind of first of all, I feel like the car is too small, and also it's like entering into the text. So I scaled it up so that it looks like it's sitting above the text. Let me see if I can show that in this one. Let's just give it a second to finish playing. So here, I feel like it's more prominent. And then you can see that the way it lines up is like it's on the car is mostly on top of the text. Maybe not totally, but then mostly on top of the text. So there's just some breathing space from it. It's not entering. It's not shy in the design. It's not feeling shy. It's actually like very pronounced, and I'm trying to do the content around it. So I'm just going to scale it up. That's why I made that particular visual decision. So there's no particular amount. I'm just going to scale it up. But the problem is that with this initial mode, I can't actually judge what it's going to look like. And I wish Figma could let me select the thumbnail I want, but it's not. I don't think it's possible. So I'm just going to scale it up using a freestyling really. I think I already had an idea that if this particular part is close to the top, that's where I should stop. So let's just see how it looks like now. So yes, I think this is better. So you can see that it's mostly sitting above the text, not totally, but then it's just mostly. So I feel like it's more pronounced now. It's not like the text is not obstructing the car that I'm trying to sell the user. So those are just small visual decisions I make when I'm working on my project. So that's it's not by the wayside chat, but yeah, we're moving on from that right now. So the next thing I want to do is to like add some body text. I'm going to add the text here. Although I have to change text. So the text, I'm just going to write anything, and I want to change text to PP. I'm going to start PP and then Nue Montreal. So Nue Montreal is actually free for download. Okay, there's a trial version that you can actually go download. Just search for Nue Montreal. I have shared this font like a million times in my other videos, so you can always find it in other videos. I'm also going to link it in the description when you get to watch the recap of this video. But yeah, that's basically it. I hope this call is still active. I really hope so. Okay, so that's Nue Montreal for you. It's a really cool font. I really like it. I really like it. So I'm just going to use that for my body copy. I think body copy I went for 24, and then I want to my body copy. I want to start lining them up perfectly in the grid. So I'm going to select this this top part as my starting point for this particular grid element. So I'm just going to place it here, make sure it lines perfectly with the grid. Although for this one I need to turn on vertical trim, or turn off vertical trim, change standard, because it's body copy. But for maybe display content like this, you can always like trim it and it's totally fine, nobody gets hurt. So I want to pick, so like I said, pixel perfect, make it pixel perfect, zoom in and then make sure that everything lines up perfectly. Because what's the point of creating the grid if you're not trying to line everything perfectly on it? So again, the grids are not meant to like stifle your creativity, they're meant to guide you, but at the end of the day, you should actually like spread your wings and actually fly. But for the early part, you learn how to use the grid, like be constrained by the grid. So yeah, I'm just going to then extend the text box and make it just reach the second part as well. Why I'm doing that is because I don't want it to enter into, I'm going to show that the effect in a moment. So I'm going to just people say don't use Lorem Ipsum, but I am very lazy. I still use Lorem Ipsum a lot because I can't go and start looking for actual content. So I'm just going to use Lorem Ipsum here. And if I start thinking of the content to use, I'm going to spend too much time on it. So Lorem Ipsum is totally fine. Not just do like 5 sentences and generate. Okay. So let's do 6 sentences. Let's do 6. Okay. So I think this, let's see how it looks. So I think this text looks too big. So I'm just going to like scale it down a bit. Let's do 20 for the text size. Then the next thing I want to do is I would like the text to not feel like because of the way typical text is, when it gets to the next line, it actually breaks, it wraps to the next line. But I want everything to be justified. I want everything to have like the same length, just to give you like a sense of visual uniformity. So I'm just going to click on the text. Sorry. And I'm going to first of all adjust the letter spacing. Like I said, some text you need to adjust the letter spacing differently. So I'm just going to go for minus 1.5 for this one, I suppose. Let's do minus 1. Let's just do minus 1. You don't necessarily have to do it for everyone. You don't necessarily have to do it even yourself, but it's just a small thing that I think makes a big difference at certain points in time. So I'm just going to click on the text and change it to justify. So you see what justify does, because it's a creative. If I'm building like a fintech product, I'm not going to try this thing. This is actually like this is a crime. This is a crime, because justify text actually had that for you to like read through. Or personally for me, I find justify text very hard to read through. So because the creative side, you're allowed to like break the rules. So you can see that it has more visual uniformity. Like everything is on a line. So that's just something to keep in mind as well. So that's why I'm justifying it, just to make it look uniform. So like I said, you don't actually have to make it fall perfectly. Like it doesn't have to span from here to here. It doesn't have to do that. As long as I've picked a particular point we start from, that's good enough. Again, don't take my lesson here as a single source of truth. Just try and do your own research as well. So with that done, I think I'm good to go to the next element. So I'm also going to change one to white as well. White. So to add even more contrast, because you can see that, again, even though it's personally for me, I see that lots of creative sites sacrifice usability for aesthetics, but I actually try to balance both. So what I'm trying to do here is trying to still make the site very accessible, because this is gray background. It's not like it doesn't pop a lot, but then I want to even add more contrast. I think I've already done that even myself. Okay, there's already like a fill, what's it called? What's the word again, self? An overlay rather. So I'm just going to press add fill. So it's going to add a black overlay just to make the text more visible. So you can actually increase it. I think it's 20. So let's leave 20. I think 20 is fine. But I don't want it to be too much, it's too harsh, too black, so much that it hides the car itself. So I think 20 is fine. You can choose a different number for yours, but I think I chose 10 the last time. So let's work with this. Then I'm also going to make this text. I'm going to make it capital, all caps. Let's see if that works. It looks ugly. So let's go back to text. So these are the back and forth decisions I make when I'm designing creative sites basically that before I eventually come to a final decision. So I'm just going to still get some of this content. I don't want to design them from scratch again. I don't think I want to design them from scratch. It's just going to waste our time, because the good part is actually, the fun part really is actually in the animation part, and we're still yet to get to that. So I need to also explain why I think I'm doing this, because typically I think, what do you call it? Okay, let me first of all align, justify them. First of all, justify them to the left. Okay, justify to the left and align to the left. So the only reason I'm doing this is just because I want to give, like, again, I want to give like breathing space for the actual car to shine through. Although there should be text, I need this text to be there because I am assuming it's just going to like be brief info about what the car is, or going to the future with this new electrical vehicle and whatnot and whatnot. So I want to actually have text here. Then this is the name of the car, and then some small specs, and then something that says see all specs. So I am aligning left and right just so I'm giving room for the car itself to shine through. Let's see if I can even like still even give more room for it to shine through by going back again and changing this to align left. So I think this actually gives more room, but again, sometimes it's a gamble between what you want and what you think looks good. So let's settle with this. It's not doing too much. So also, I think why I also put this content, because typically I say typically a lot, if you noticed. I don't know why I do it. It just comes to my mind. But yeah, I think why I also like settled for putting this one on the left and this one by the right, because ideally I think this should be by the left. I think it should be like that. But I settled on this on this style because I felt like, let's look at it. Let's just look at it again. These are just small decisions I make when I'm trying to design stuff. So paste. So why I settled on this, because I feel like the rear end of the car is like, it looks really nice. So having the text there blocks out some of that rear end, and there's enough room for this part. If the text is covering it to some extent, it doesn't feel too off. It doesn't feel too off. But then if this one, if it's behind, it covers actually like a meaningful part of the car, and I don't really like that. So I chose to go with this other one that had the text by that side. But let's see if we even align left, if that will help our case. It still does not really help our case. So let's just go back to the original concept that I went with. So I feel like this, you can see that rear end, you can actually see it. You can see it. This content is allowing the rear end to shine through, and this part's not blocking too much of the front end as well. So this is the decision I made, and then I went with this particular design. So I'm not going to go through the hassle of creating all these buttons and whatnot. I don't think I really need to go through them. So you can actually just do those things by yourself. Just copy my design and do them. So the only thing I'm just going to do is maybe make this button. Should I leave the button? I think I should leave it because it's a fancy button that has like a cutout here. But
I think a color, make color, put a color on it.
Okay. I'm also going to come to that as well. So you can see that here you have the CTA. Let me just copy it, the navbar, and paste it here. I'm not going to have to design navbar from scratch as well again. So the navbar already has like a color. So I didn't want to like add one color and then it's just going to be all over the place. So I settled for going for this one. I think I tried stroke, but stroke was just too off. It just felt really off. So I just felt this one was more subtle and it doesn't clash with this particular one. So which is why I settled with this particular version. So it's okay for me personally. I think it's okay. For yours, you can always like try.
It's okay.
Exactly, you can try something new. So these are just like back and forth thought processes I have when I'm trying to like work on my personal work. So that's for that. I'm not going to go into detail about designing so that things. There are simple things you can actually design yourself. So let's get to the fun part, which is animating the stuff. So the first animation you actually see. Let me play the animation again. Oh boy. Just give me 1 second to find which particular file it is, because okay, this particular frame. Is this frame right? Let's just play from the beginning again. Okay, so you can see spins, the car spins, and then the text come out. So I'm going to show how I went through this whole procedure. The first thing I want to do is to start with to show. Okay, I still need to show. So you can by default it's the car it's a video, so it spins on its own. So I don't need to actually do any extra work on it. If it was planned, if I was inspired, I needed to have done some work. So the car will always spin whether or not you like it. So one thing I kept in mind when I want to start the process was that, okay, what is the duration of this particular video? I had to go and check, and then I think it was like, someone, your mic is on mute. I think your mic is interfering a bit. So the video is 6 seconds. So I just kept that in mind. I was like, okay, for mine, let me just explain the overall idea. The video is 6 seconds. So I'm going to delay my animation for 4 seconds. Okay, let's start again. So you can, reload. Please reload. So I tried to delay all the animations for 4 seconds before they actually start playing. So the remaining 2 seconds of the video is when the animations of the stuff of the UI elements actually start playing. So that was just the idea I actually had that I went with for mine. So you can do yours differently. Again, you can do yours differently. So I'm going to quickly get started doing all of those animations. So the first thing I want to start with is the major animation, which is this particular text on this page. I think I also want to try another font as well, Anton. I think this one is it's not strong enough, or it feels too. Well, we may actually go back to it, but let me see if Anton works. So okay. There's a message. Okay. So I think I'm just going to go with Anton. Anton feels like thicker. I like the way it's thick. The bars is just too. But you know what? Let me go back. I think the bars has like a. Yeah. Oh, they don't have both. They don't have both. So I prefer this one. I think it's thicker. You can let me know what you think. Or in yours, you can actually try. I don't want to waste too much time deciding on the font, because this call is actually like not going to last too long. So let's get to animating the main element. So mostly, like I said, I start with the big element on the page, and then I work my way down to the small details that are on the page. So I'm having an idea of how to go about this faster, but I think that may be problematic, and I don't want to waste too much time. So let me first of all split the text. I think I noticed that, or I have come to learn that even when you're trying to like animate text on like with code, you have to, like with GSAP, if you're trying to like fit into GSAP animation, you have to first of all use the GSAP feature functionality that splits the text into like one element before you start animating it. So on Figma, ideally, it will mean that in my early days, I used to separate them. I'll start typing T, and then I'll start typing H, just line them up like as best as I can. So that was like a hassle. So I found like over time, easier ways to do that. The easiest way to do that so far has just been right click on it, and then go to outline stroke. So you can see outline stroke has just, although the only problem is that now it's no longer a text. You can no longer edit like a text. It's not a vector. So that's just the only thing. But then nobody's going to know because it looks like a text. It looks like a text. It works like a text, and they're not going to like actually be clicking on it to use it like a text or to copy it. So you can see it's individual vectors that have been split out by Figma. So this is just how the quick method I found to splitting text. So the next thing I'm going to do is to turn it into a frame, because when you do that whole outline stroke thing, it nests everything inside of a group. So I want to just change the group to frame, and then let's just call it, okay, the frame is already named properly, the new age. So we're good to go. Click on the frame, make sure that clip content is turned on, and then the next thing you want to do is to just duplicate it, and then select both of them, and then just go to components and create component set. So here is where you start animating stuff. Okay, let's just give this one a different name. Let's call it final. Let's just call it final. Okay, and select this one, go to prototype, and link it with this one. So you're going to set the trigger to be after delay. So like I said, keep in mind that video was 6 seconds. So I'm going to make this animation delay for 4 seconds before it starts, so that it just rides with the video and ends at that 6 second mark. So I'm going to just set it to delay for 4,000 milliseconds. So 4,000 milliseconds is 4 seconds. Figma doesn't do 1 second, 2 seconds. Adobe X used to do that before, but then that software is dead and gone software by now. But yeah, Smart Animate, and then I'm going to set the duration to, let's do 1,200. So it's still not up to it's still not up to 6 seconds. It means that this will be around like, let's say 5.2 seconds or thereabout. But this is fine because that 0.2 seconds, nobody's going to notice that this thing. And I feel like even having the video still play for slightly longer than the UI elements, I think it's still really a nice touch. So these are just small nuances that I think about when I'm like working. Or most I don't think about them is when I actually play it and see that, okay, no, this small thing it feels off. And then I go inside and then I change things and make stuff better. So here's where I start making things different. So I'm going to select this one, this default state, press, so you can see that it's selected, and then press enter. So enter will just select all the children components. That's everything. You can see the T, H, everything selected inside of it. So I'm going to start, hold shift. So shift is to make things moving like increments of 10, 10, 10. Okay, maybe not 10, 10, 10. If you set it to like a different number, it moves in that increment. So mine, by default, I think Figma sets it to 10, 10, 10 for your own, by to 8, 8, 8. I don't really know. Depends on what you want to do. So hold shift and then press the down button. 1, 2. So just press it until it goes out of view. If the difference is that currently I'm not holding shift, so I'm just going to press 1, 1. So you can see it's moving really, really slow, and that's not going to save your time. So let's just hold shift and then press until it goes away. I'm not using the mouse because mouse may move things, like may just mess things up. I may even be able to hold shift, but then mouse may still take it out of the frame. So you have to be very careful. I prefer to use, even though it's longer, I prefer to use like the keyboard, pressing down, 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 just to make sure that I get something that's perfect. I also want to, first of all, add, so you can see what I'm doing. This is unnecessary, but I just want you to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to add add an auto layout to this component. Align them to the side. Oh no. Okay, align them to the side. Why is it filling? Oh, why is it set to fill? Sorry, just give me 1 second. This is not part of the procedure. It's just to show you what exactly I'm doing. And I'm going to hot content. Okay, cool. So this is the default one. I'm going to click on it, select all the content, and then just move things down. Okay, I still need to do one more thing. Turn off clip content so you can see what I'm doing. So back to what we're doing before. I move them out of the frame with down button while holding shift. So once it just goes out of frame totally, I will then go to the layers, that's the layers panel, and then hold Control or Command if you're using a Mac, and then click on the first button. So it's just going to deselect the first item that you clicked on while holding Command or Control. So I can then press the next. Okay, you know what? Let's not do that first. Let's copy this, Control C, and then let's paste it to replace this the new age. So I've Control C this one here, Control C, and then I'm going to paste to replace. That's Shift Command arrow or Shift Control arrow if you're using Mac. So it's there now. It's actually there. You can't see, but it's there. So I'm going to just play the video. Okay, I don't need to play. I just need to restart the thing from beginning. So reload tab. So just give it a second to finish reloading. So 4 seconds, don't forget 4 seconds, that's what it's going to take. So you can see that it comes outside after 4 seconds, it comes, and then it ends almost where the video itself ends. So that's the timing I try to like do with my content, with my animation. But it feels a bit bland. I don't know if you can tell, but it feels a bit bland. This is just the first step. So this is where I look at it and then I start seeing what is off about my about the animation, and then I start going and then start making tweaks. So you can see that the text comes outside, but it's just boring. It might be okay, but it's boring. At least to me, it's boring. There might be cases where it's actually okay, but then this particular content, I think we can actually make it more interesting. So what I mean by interesting is that by staggering the times where the thing where the content, or the text rather, come out. So I want T to come out first, then H, then E, then, so I just want them to come out at different times. So I feel like that stagger effect is going to give you like more, it's just going to make him look better and feel better really. So I'm going to select the new default component, press enter. So you can see they are all on the same line. I'm going to hold command, deselect the T, and then I'm going to hold shift and press down. 1, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's about 50 steps because each step is 10, 10, 10 while you're holding shift. So that's about 50 steps I've actually made from the top. So let me just click on the default component and then turn off clip content to make you see what I've done. So you can see that the T is more up. I'm using the word more up, but it's closer to the top than the other content. So I'm going to, yes, the class is being recorded. It's going to be posted on my YouTube. I'm going to share it on YouTube, and then you can go there and watch it. turning time, pointing time. I also find this content, this particular file as well. So I'm also going to press enter. No, click on the content and then press enter. That's to select everything, and then I'm going to hold Control and select T and H. So now it's the turn of the other ones to go further down. So I'm staggering the content, the text. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was it 5? Was it 5? I think it was 5 steps I was doing, but it feels like more. But that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Then select the H. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh boy, I missed. I got confused at that point. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see that the way they are arranged at the bottom looks staggered. So it means that this one is going to come out first, this one next, then it's just going to flow, cascade down like that. So that's what I'm trying to go for. So let's turn on clip content for the component. Please make sure that clip content is turned on, because that's where people may actually get it wrong. Make sure it's always turned on when you're checking through your components. So clip content just hides the things that are out of frame. That's what it does. So let's reload the animation, reload the tab rather, and see how it plays. So like I said, in case this call ends, you can try joining again. If it doesn't work, then you're going to see the rest on YouTube. I'm sorry. So you can see that this feels more, I don't know what it does, but it just feels more interesting because things come out at the same time. So like it just builds like anticipation to see what's the next element is going to be. So I just think it's better. Objectively, I think it's better. That objective is Elisha. I think it's actually better. It's not. I think it's better.
Better.
Yeah, it's better. So that's just that for the main element. So once I'm done with the main element, I move down to like smaller things. For example, this text here. So this text, it's more tricky because like it's multiple. Your call ends in 15 minutes. Like I said, if it ends, try joining again. If not, you're going to see the rest on YouTube. So for this text, it's more tricky because there's like multiple lines of it. But how I approach this, although the problem that's going to happen if I do what I want to do is that it's going to stop being justified. It's not going to be justified again. But that's a small sacrifice for the greater good. Although when I'm actually working on my own, I actually know how to like spend time actually make sure it's properly aligned. But for this one, I'm just going to like go the easy way. So I'm going to use a tool that's called the NISA text to break them into multiple lines. So like I said, even if you're a developer and you're using like GSAP to do text animation, it's still the same. I think I came to learn that it's actually still the same logic. You have to break the text first into either lines or this thing, and then start animating them individually. So it's still the same logic you're actually using Figma here. So I'm going to just first of all split them into. I'm going to use my own, because currently it's actually not a line. It's just wrapping. It's a single line of text that's wrapping to fill this the available space. So you can see if I stretch it out, it just keeps stretching and stretching. So it's currently wrapping. But if I were to go in myself and then click on the first line and press enter, it's going to break. So it's broken it into 2 lines now. So if I stretch this, it's going to be 2 lines. So you can see it's 2 lines. I actually like added a line break to it. So that's the idea here. You have to go to the first line, to the first letter of each lines, and then just break the line. So you can see as I'm breaking it, unfortunately, it costs us our beautiful justified this thing, but that's a fine sacrifice to make, at least for this particular session, because the other route would be too long. It would be just too long to make it look as perfect as we want it to look. So let's just sacrifice this one for now. So you can see that even though I stretch it, it doesn't break because I've already broken it myself. So it doesn't have to break again. So now I want to use a tool called NISA text. So I think it's called NISS. Okay, NIS. Please, I hope they've not changed it, please. NISA text. I think they've changed the name. Text. Okay, it has not. I was searching. I was searching under the. So you can see it's still there under the plugin and widgets tab. So I'm going to open it, run, and I'm going to press. What's the word? Split. Okay, let's just wait for the results. So you can see that what it's done, it has split it into like single lines for me without scattering how it is. So that's just what I want to achieve for mine. So and by default, when you when it splits them, it selects everything. So it's very easy for you to just at this point try and what's it called, frame everything. So frame selection. Do not auto layout, because if you auto layout, it's going to mess up the. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mess up the order, but I think frame is just like a safer option. So frame the selection to just be on the safer side, and then make sure that click content is turned on. And then the next thing you want to do is to also, what do you need to okay, the next thing you want to do is to select each one of them, and then I think there's a tool called, because what I want to do is I want to frame all of them. I need to frame each line of text so that I can make them disappear. I can make them disappear into their frame with using the what's the word again? Using the clip content functionality. So to do that, I need to make each one of them be inside of their frames. So the long way out will just be for you to start Command Option F. That didn't work. Is it Command Option F? Command Shift F. Oh, that's not working. So I'm just going to go the easy route, please. Press Enter to select all of them. So all of them are selected. So I think there's a tool called multi-frame. Is there a tool called multi-frame? Because if I frame selection, it's going to frame all of them as one element. So I don't want that. I want them to be framed as individual elements. So let's search for plugins. So these are actually 5 plugins. Most I just search my problem first, and then I see if there's a plugin that can sort that out. So multi-frame, frame multiplier code. Okay, frame, batch frame. Yeah, batch frame. I don't really know what I'm looking for, but I think so. You can see batch frame creator. I saw something that sounds like the solution to my problem. So let's try it. So if it doesn't work, we're going to go the long route. This is complex. I think it's not going to work. So let's just start framing each one. It's not a lot of lines, so we're going to be done quickly. So frame selection. So you can see I'm framing each line. Control Command. Okay, I was pressing it down. Command Option G. I think it's the I was pressing it. It wasn't working. Okay, it's working now. Okay, Command Option G. That's Control Option G or Control Alternate G for your Windows users. So I'm just framing each line. Control Option G. Yes. So each line has been framed now. I'm going to say Control A to select all the lines. So all these lines selected, and then I'm going to make sure that clip content is turned on. Again, clip content is very, very important in this particular context. Turn it on, and you're good to go. So with this now, I can then go and create a component for this. Ideally, I think if I can actually make the entire page a component and create it, but then I don't want to try that and then it will fail, and then this call will be longer than it should be. So let me just use the tried and true method that's worked for me. So I'm just going to create a duplicate, and just the same way I did for this one, I'm going to select both of them and then create a component set. And here I'm going to link this one. Go to prototype mode, link this one with this one. Just use those same settings that you used for the first one. You can change yours a bit if you want to have different effects or have them come out at different times. But I'm going to set mine to come out at the same time as well. So 4,000 milliseconds for the delay, and then the ease out duration. Okay, those things are still repeated, so I'm just going to leave them like that. Then here I'm going to select this one and then press Enter to select the children, and then press Enter again to select the sub children. That's the actual text themselves. And then I'm going to hold Shift and just move them down, so they all disappear at the same time. For this particular one, I don't think I want to sweat myself. So in this particular content, I don't think it's for a text that's like a body text. I don't think you need to make them start coming out one by one, because it's a lot of text. If you start making them come out one by one, it's just going to lose it's going to lose that effect that this particular one, the big text, has. It's just because text is like multiple lines. Sorry, a single display text is why I feel like it looks good. But if you do it for multiple text that's really long, I don't think it makes sense. I've tried it before and I saw that it was not a really good effect. So I would advise you to stick with like a line by line animation for multi-body text. But for display text, it's good to have that single text animation. So that's just the small thing I've noticed. But you can try everything yourself. Like, the rules are not, they are there for you to break. So go crazy, try new things. So I'm just going to copy this first component, Control C, and then paste it to replace. So that's done for that one. And then I'm going to reload the tab. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. So you can apply the knowledge and use that for yourself. But let's see how the whole thing plays out. So you can see that they just come out like at the same time because I what's it called set the time to like to be the same. So for yours, you can actually like play with the time. You can say, okay, you want this one to come out first, so you can like increase the, or you want to come out last, so you can increase the duration or do whatever you want to do. Then lastly, I just want to make some small changes to the hero section, to the navbar, because I feel like navbar is something that people ignore most of the time. So for this one, I'm not going to sweat myself doing it because it's just going to be a waste of time for this call. So you can apply all the knowledge I've taught here and then use it for yours and see how that can work out for you. So for this call, I'm just going to move it to the side so it doesn't affect our design. So for this navbar, I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to create another one, and then I'm going to select both of them and create a component set rather. Then the same animation type as well. So like I said, for yours, you can actually do something different and see how the result comes outside and see if you like it or not. So set it to after delay, then 4,000. Okay, then the thing I want to do is one for navbars. I don't really do lots of animation. It's just small stuff. Most times I increase the spacing between the text. For the initial state, I increase the spacing. Let's say I make it current spacing is actually 40, so I'm going to make it like something like say 60. So 60, and then for the padding of for the button as well. Also, this is small things. That's small animations I do that nobody is going to necessarily take a note of, but because I will notice them, I spend the time doing them. So the space as well, I'm going to make it like increase the padding to let's say 24, because the button is actually complex, which is why I have to do like lots of setup for it. But you're not supposed to stress this much for a button. Well, the button is a complex piece of work, so I need to just zoom in a bit and do some stuff. You can see that it has like this cutout. That's what is actually like causing the whole issue. Okay, so that's our button. Then for this text, maybe sometimes I just add like a padding. Let's say 24. Okay, padding. So for the before navbar, I'm going to tone it down to 0. So 0, and then Control C, and then I'm going to press Control paste to replace. So this is the component. So let's just play everything and see how the whole thing plays out together. I hope this call is still active. 5 minutes more. So let's see how it plays. So you can see. So everything just plays out seamlessly. So this is literally like all I did for although I did like a return state. So the return state to make it like return. The return state is kind of wonky. So I'm not going to really. I don't think the actual what I'm going to do is going to be great. But let's just duplicate and let's see. Prototype. You know what? This is fine. So if for you just reload. I think the return state is not really worth the effort trying to like do it. Plus it was kind of wonky on my end as well. So just preview this and share with your friends and and that's totally fine. So if you have any questions, feel free. This is the time to ask before the call ends.
Well, we can ask question now. I want us to let's practice it then. Ask question, something like that, maybe tomorrow.
No problem. I mean, you can always, like, my DM is always open. You can always reach out to me online and I will always respond to messages. But if any other person has like any feedback, questions or anything, like, go ahead and ask.
Thanks for the tip on how to search for plugins. Just look for your problems on female community and you find a plugin. That's a new one. I have a question. Assuming you want to like work on the creative projects, that's like push your design power to the next level, but you can't find the right inspiration for it. How do you approach that? Like, you want something that's out of this world, but you can't find what's out of this world because you don't even know what the state of it is. You get what I mean?
Hey, that's a tricky question. But most times, like, if you're looking for, do you say if you want to work, if you have a client project, or you are just looking for something that's like,
it's a personal project.
Okay, if you're looking for a personal project, most times I actually wait for it to come. Before I had this one. This one, like I said, most of my ideas do not come fully formed. They don't come. I just want to do only one thing. But this one, I actually just wanted to just add text and see how it works, and then I just like ended up coming up with this. So most times, I feel like just keep feeding your eyes with creative. Just keep surrounding yourself with creative stuff, and at some point, it's going to come to you. Like, I can't tell you at what point, because there are times where truly your brain will not just work. Like, regardless of how much you force it, it's not going to work. So just keep looking at creative stuff. Like, always look at people's work, and I feel like at some point it's going to come. That's how it has worked for me, and I
Yeah.
think it's going to work for you as well.
Thanks. I'll update you on that then.
No problem. So, any other questions? Olamide, I'm calling you out.
Question.
Sorry?
But then I'm going back to your YouTube channel, so
No. Okay, no problem. No problem.
yeah, thank you so much.
So that if any other the room floor is still open for questions because we only have like 2 minutes left. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thanks for the great session.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Thank you all for joining. There are no other questions. I thank you for joining and have a great day ahead. See you guys.